welcome to TikTok Tarot, and today's reading all about what's going on in this connection. This can be used for a romance partner or a person of interest, but it can also be used for friendships, a colleague, maybe a family member, just any kind of relationship where you're trying to gain additional insights into what's going on. We're going to take a look at your energy, their energy, what's working, what's not working, and try and provide some clarity about how you can move forward. That being said, we have 4 piles to choose from, and for this reading, each pile is represented by the moon card for their respective decks. So for pile 1, we have the Muse Tarot. For pile 2, we have the World of Bunnies. For pile 3, we have the Tarot of the Divine. And for pile 4, we have the Necronomicon Tarot. So please pick whichever pile resonates most with you, or if there's certain people you want to look into. And obviously, if you identify different piles for different people, feel free to hit pause and take as much time as you need to decide. And once you've made your decision, we will get started. Hello, pile 1. Thank you so much for joining me today in this reading all about what's going on in this relationship. So let's get started. So I want to see what your energy is in this relationship. The 2 of Materials, which is the 2 of Pentacles. Sorry, I'm just like all over the place. What's their energy in this relationship? Their energy is the 2 of Emotions, which is Cups. What's going on the surface of this relationship? We have the 10 of Inspiration, which is the 10 of Wands in this deck. And what's going on underneath the surface? We have the 6 of Materials, which is the 6 of Pentacles. What's working in this relationship? Five of Inspiration or the Five of Wands. And what's not working? And we have the Six of Inspiration or the Six of Wands. So I think it's a very kind of clear thing going on here. So starting with your energies, I'm starting with them because it's a little bit easier, but so the Two of Emotions, so whoever this person is to you, I think they feel very at home in this relationship. I think they're feeling of like connection, relatively feeling strong connection, a bond. If it's a romantic connection, like loved up, I think they are feeling like very at peace in this relationship. And over here, you're showing up as the Two of Materials. And normally this card is about balance, but I'm feeling like, she's holding these two bundles, 1 foot on such a tiny space. I feel like maybe you're holding things together, but are feeling very overloaded, or like not overloaded, but very much like the analogy of keeping all the plates in the air. I think you're really feeling that, cups, emotions, that's more ethereal versus the material, the coins, it's earth energy, it's very practical. And I think these two energies are showing up here in the relationship, in the disconnect between what's going on the surface and what's going on underneath. The Six of Pentacles, and I'm really weird. I think I got a little confused because I was thinking like the Six of Cups because of the flowers here, but and I think that's part of it. I think maybe me thinking of that is because this relation has like a lot of history, a lot, a lot of, I don't want to say good nostalgia, but like karma points. Like you've had a long run with each other, and I feel like a strong equal foundation that maybe is being overlooked right now. But yeah, on the surface, I do think this is a balanced relationship. I think also as a reflection that you guys are both twos. At the core of this relationship, I think there is a balance and reciprocal nature. Now, on the surface, I feel like I'm gonna move this up a little bit. On the surface, I feel like though you guys are maybe not spending as much time together. Maybe there's a lot going on, and the load is being too much. There's an element here where there's a lot going on that, based on these energies, I think that you're carrying, and maybe you're just doing too good of a job of carrying it, that this person over here thinks that everything's fine, that maybe it's just a busy patch. Maybe like, yeah, there's a lot of work, you're not spending as much time together. Again, I'm using more of a romantic setting, but it's being anything. And there's an energy here that that feels on the surface that there's not a problem with the relationship. It's just, oh, we're really busy right now. Everyone's really busy right now. And down here with the Five of Inspiration as what's working and the Six of Inspiration of what's not working, I think that Five is change, conflict, competition. I think that you guys are handling really conflict well. Like when something happens, an incident, you guys are able to communicate about it and move forward with it, and everything is fine. But I think what's not working is recognition. I feel like you or whoever's in this Two of Pentacles energy is like not feeling recognized for the weight that they're carrying. And so I'm seeing that as sort of the hindrance to this. I think, and I think you guys have a really strong reciprocal relationship at its core, and right now it is maybe a trying time, and it's important to communicate that, express that, um, in order to make sure that this sort of surface level relationship thing is not going to impact, I think, the strong foundational relationship that you two have. Um, Draw one more card, I think, to talk about how to best move forward, kind of with what's not working. And we have the Emperor. So the best path forward, I think, to merge on this, but the Emperor, is to sort of tap into that divine masculine energy that is action. Again, I think you're here carrying a lot, and you're like, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And this other person is taking you at that face value. And I think that the plan forward here is on you to exercise that action forward energy, the delegator energy. Um, and I think the Emperor is a provider, a protector, you know, is that strong, you know, forward moving energy. And I think, yeah, that the best path forward is through direct, straightforward areas like communication. And maybe with what's on your plate, delegating. Again, I'm feeling this feeling that you're carrying it. And obviously, we would love, you know, for everyone to like read our minds and know that when we say we're okay, when we're really okay, when we're not. And I think that strong, like Aries energy, just like being very direct, very, very blunt, being very straightforward on that, you know? And I think this person is going to be receptive. I think they have a relationship with you. They want to be helpful. They want to be contributing. Like if you're doing a lot for them, they want and are feeling like they're giving equally. And if that's not the case, the way forward is for that direct line of communication. And now I'm gonna just see where maybe can you guys kind of reconnect. Obviously, I think we're in a very tired energy, and but where can you reconnect with your person, your partner, your colleague, find like common ground? Sorry. 45 with 7th house of partnership or relationships. And then advice or messages regarding this relationship. We have full moon in Sagittarius with look at the bigger picture. I'm seeing with both of these cards, I don't blame you. I think things are very hectic for you then, I think, but there is relationships in the house and looking at the bigger picture. I'm seeing maybe take that time to like nurture the relationship itself. You know, I'm seeing that you are the busy one, and maybe that's why they haven't moved forward on trying to do things to like grow or talk about or further the relationship. Um, and I'm seeing that it's important to invest in it. You know, seventh house is about balance, and I feel like maybe with everything going on, maybe we're getting a little like tit for tatty, like, oh, but I'm doing this, counting all of your like add-ons and feeling like they're not adding it. I think that's how resentment festers. I think it's important to take a bigger, higher level view at this relationship, and I do think this feels like an energy of a relationship that you do value, and I think reinvesting in it, and again with the Emperor energy, like really just discussing what you're giving, what you're feeling like you're not getting. And I think I don't want to say miscommunication, but I do think that taking that time to have meaningful relationship moments or meaningful hangouts, or like really taking that time to understand like what each person has going on, what they're bringing, how we're coming together. It's you are two individuals, and then also you are a friend, a pair, a couple, whatever. Like, and so I think it's important to like value how that grows, and um taking some time to just reconnect with that, retouch base. You know, when we're really busy, we maybe don't prioritize that. And I think that's how, relationships can kind of wither. So, um, well, and pile one, that's what I'm seeing about this, what's going on in this relationship. Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's been a pleasure to spend time with you. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to hear about new readings, and also check me out on TikTok or Instagram for even more tarot content. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time. Hi, Pile 2. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, you chose the World of Bunny Tarot, and let's look at what's going on in this relationship. So, what represents your energy? I have the Ten of Swords. What represents their energy? The Six of Cups. And what's going on the surface of this relationship? The Lover's card. And what's going on underneath the surface? We have the Moon card. What's working in this relationship? Knight of Pentacles. What's not working in this relationship? The Seven of Cups. What's the best path forward? The Devil. Interesting. I was going to draw these at the end, but I'm also going to draw some oracle cards just for additional advice or guidance, but I am a little curious about this Devil card as the best path forward. So I wanted to kind of just pull and see what this has to say. Have the 40 with second house for resources. Sorry, there's like the glare going on over there, but I'm not very good at the setup, so I don't know that I'm gonna get rid of it, but, and then advice. Expect the new moon eclipse with expect powerful changes. Okay, I think I understand. So high level on this relationship, I think there has been a lot of betrayal, particularly by whoever you're asking about. I think there have been a lot of transgressions that you have had to bear the blunt of, that were not resolved. Here they're being represented by the Six of Cups. It's stuck in the past energy. And maybe we had a start to this relationship that was really good, maybe from childhood or just in general, like a very pure, like high in the start. And whoever this person is, I'm feeling like you've been in this dynamic for a really long time. And I think on the surface, and tying to their energy here, on the surface, everything looks peaceful, everything looks wonderful. With underneath like the moon and like illusions, I mean, and you're able to achieve this because I think what's been going on isn't spoken about. It's not resolved. It has to be pushed down. It's, this this peace, this tranquility, this harmony is only achieved through illusion. We don't talk about the bad things that happen. We didn't talk about them at the time. And obviously there are some scars there. But we're sort of able to hold on to this childlike view of the relationship. We're able to continue to project like, oh, we're still a happy couple, we're still good friends. um I love working here. Just what I'm trying to think of all the relationships you could be thinking about. um right, this image is only able to be kept off of the lies that we all tell. um the Knight of Pentacles, for what's working, it's slow movement, it's hard working. I feel like this person, um there's a comfort to your relationship with this person. You're in the motions, the day to day, it happens, it chugs, it moves. What works is that it's comfortable. You guys are comfortable with each other. And what's not working is that you're being stifled. Um, right, like I said, I think this relationship, this facade is only maintained through the holding back of you. Um, and kind of jumping over here to the devil for best course of action, I feel like maybe there is a turning point. The devil is like contracts. Um, I'm wondering if you guys are experiencing an opportunity or something the relationship is up for renegotiation. And I think also with the devil card, you're being asked to be selfish. With the second house, it's a house of financials, but I don't necessarily know that that's where they're going. But it's also about your values. um what are you valuing? What value is the relationship um bringing you? In the guidebook for this, under challenges, it says like what you see is not all that there is. um so obviously, as I'm saying, the best path forward is it, if you don't want to end this, you know you think there is still value, I do think it's time to renegotiate. I think there's some element of you've been getting a bad deal, a raw deal in this. And I think advocating for yourself in this way, um, would, I think, advocating for yourself in this way, I think, can bring about powerful changes. But I do think with, eclipse season, it's chaotic times, it's bumpy. I think the devil kind of indicates that as well. I think to shake up the relationship is to invite chaos. Um, you might have to give up what's been working well, which is this like comfortable pattern that you've been in. And so, yeah, I think what the general message for what best to do in this relationship is really sort of sit with yourself and understand like what are you valuing, what value does this relationship give you, how can you renegotiate the value in this relationship for yourself. And again, especially I feel like potentially like there's something coming up, like if it was a romantic relationship, like maybe it's like you've been together long enough, you want to get married. Maybe you have a friend and it's about a friendship and they're wanting you to be in their wedding and things haven't been going well. There's something about there's an event happening where I feel like the relationship can be renegotiated. Obviously a relationship can be negotiated at any time, but a lot of times an inciting event or a milestone can just be a clean point for us as like 3D beings to be like, well, this is new, so let's re-talk about it, let's reopen it. And I think at the very least, with whatever kind of, whatever you decide to do on it, I think it's going to be big changes, leaving or standing up for yourself and, bringing it about that. I think the new moon eclipse really indicates that. And I like the saying, so to attune to the moon, it's like never mind the past, life evolves every single day. And I think there's been a reliant on keeping things status quo. Life is changing, you're changing, and what's not working is they're not allowing you to change. And I think once you regain that ability, that autonomy, that whatever inside or out of this relationship for change, I think it's going to have large impacts on your life. So, I hope you really embrace this, and I you really embrace this, and allow yourself to change and grow, because it's like the moon, we change all the time, so change is constant. So pile 2, thank you so much for joining me today in this reading. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to hear about new readings, and also check me out on TikTok or Instagram for even more tarot content. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Hello, Pile 3. Thank you so much for joining me today. You chose the Tarot of the Divine. So let's get started on what's going on in this relationship. So first we're going to pull a card for your energy. Ooh. We have the 4 of Coins. What's a card representing their energy? We have the World. What's a card representing the relationship on the surface? 2 of Wands. And what's going on underneath? We have the Queen of Coins. So many things in my hands. Sorry about that. And so we're gonna pull what's working in this relationship. Five of Wands. What's not working in this relationship right now? Seven of Cups. And what's the best path forward? Ooh. Seven of Wands. What I'm seeing is people in 2 very different places. So your energy is the 4 of Coins. And I'm feeling like the energy of like scarcity. There is a holding on energy, clinging. Like it's not holding on like, oh, we're trying to keep things together. It's definitely a very like, it's mine, or I can't let it go away, or a fear of like losing something. And over here, the person you're thinking about is represented by the World. The World is the final, the major arcana. It's completion. With completion is a new beginning. I think that they're feeling very fulfilled, but also I think the person this is about is looking for the next thing. What are they doing next? On the surface, and with the Queen of Coins and what's going underneath, I'm feeling there's a question of like this moving on. And maybe that's what you're feeling on a high level, maybe like a feeling of being replaced. Um, things looking both ways. You know, the Queen of Coins can be quite jealous and possessive, I think, radiating sort of your energy. Something is going on up here. If it's romantic, maybe this completion, maybe your partner is feeling over the relationship, that's what you're feeling, or potentially there is like a job thing that's gonna cause them to move away. There's definitely a feeling up here with a wanting to have your cake and eat it too energy. I think but it is the Two of Wands. It's not like the Two of Swords. It's not about a hard decision, and maybe this underlying energy I'll push everything up a little bit. This underlying jealousy, there's something that this person does that makes you feel like insecure, is what I'm feeling. I think even on a friend level, maybe they're hanging out with someone else more, maybe they're like even comparing you to someone else. I think this relationship is feeling a little shaky. What's working in this relationship is I do feel like you guys really push each other. The Five of Wands can be like competition, rivalry. I do feel like you as a couple push each other to grow. Maybe even having a united front. Like, I don't know about other relationships in your life, but maybe they've been with you on a united front on something. Maybe you worked in an organization together. Feeling you guys do make a good team. With the Seven of Cups and sort of this scarcity generation, I do think the relationship is holding you back or holds you both back. The idea, you know, the want for all these things, but why can't you achieve them? And maybe you feel like you can't, or they feel like they can't. Seeing the Seven that comes in this position, I am feeling like, yeah, this relationship is quite like calling you to hold back, or them to hold back. There's a holding back that we cannot pursue everything we want. This isn't working. I want to pull another clarifier on the Seven of Wands for the best like course of action or what to do kind of in relation to this. Oh. Seven of Wands, Eight of Wands. I should just pull more clarifier. I think I'm just okay. So the Seven of Wands is leave, yeah, endurance, perseverance, fighting to the bitter end. I think this card is represented by like John Henry. John Henry wins, but I think reading really quickly on it, he wins, but he didn't rest and basically overwhelmed himself. He dies like later. And so I feel like you're being guided to move on. There is an inevitability, I think, to this relationship with where they are. I think that moving on is sort of inevitable and honestly maybe coming in quick succession, and to release this relationship, and you can not, if this is something you still want, you can take your time sort of releasing it. I mean, no one is saying, I don't think necessarily that you so John had around the card who won the contest that he set out to, and then from stress, like his heart gave out and then he died. And that's not to say that there's not, importance in the contest and the winning, but I think what these are trying to say here is that, yeah, it may be time to prepare yourself to move on. I think moving on is inevitable. With the Eight of Wands and the Six of Swords, moving on is inevitable, and I think you can put all this effort and this endurance, and maybe things can progress for longer than they would naturally on their own due to your effort. But I think that's just going to put strain on you. It's just going to feed these feelings, these insecurities. It's going to create greater rift in this underlying tension, and maybe the best thing you can do is walk away from this. Just pull some oracle cards for some additional advice or clarity on this relationship. $56 progressions, journey. Don't let your past hold you back. South Node. Yeah, I feel like with progressions and South Node, I it's just kind of reiterating, I think that this relationship has kind of run its course. It might be karmic, it might be whatever. I think, South Node kind of represents comfort where we've been, but I don't think it's for us to stay. Planets progress through different signs. We learn and we move on. So I think that especially when you get a little distance from it, you can see what you learned and grew from this relationship, but that it sort of served its purpose, and releasing it will allow new things to start re-entering your life. Well, Pile 3, thank you so much for joining me for this reading today. It's been a pleasure to spend this time with you. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to hear about new readings, and also check me out on TikTok or Instagram for even more tarot content. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time. Hello, Pile 4. Thank you so much for joining me today for this reading about what's going on in this relationship. You chose the Necronomicon Tarot, so let's get started. So first I'm going to pull a card for you in this relationship, and we have the Two of Torches. And what's a card to represent their energy in this relationship? The Three of Torches. And then what's the relationship on the surface? Ace of Books. What's going on underneath? Wow. Oh, the Seven of Pentacles. And then what's working in this relationship? We have Guilt and Truth, and I will figure out what that is in the traditional tarot. That's it. What is not working in this relationship? We have violence. And what is the best path forward? We have the Nine of Books. Okay, Pile 4. So, you're the first pile today where I feel like this is a relatively new relationship in your life. So I can see why maybe you're a little unsure of what's going on. I feel like these are really complementary energies. I think both of you are very excited for this relationship, this friendship, this working relationship, whatever it may be for you. Your energy with the Two of Torches, I think you see a lot of potential in this relationship. Mapping them out, I feel like you feel like a kinship to them. With the Three of Torches, I think there's excitement, but maybe a little more confusion or hesitation on their part. You know, like they're having a good time, they're very excited about it. They kind of don't see where it's going. And that might be a little bit why we have this Ace of Books, which is swords. Oh, sorry, torches is wands in traditional tarot. So the Ace of Books. So obviously, Ace, it's the start of a new journey. I think you both see that. I think there's a lot of potential. This to me says maybe like the relationship right now is like rooted in something mental. So maybe you know this person because you started a project together, or maybe you're in class together, something like intellectual. So I think like on the surface, it's kind of mostly about the project, even though I think both of you were like really excited about the relationship. The key is there, I think, to the lock around this book. It's a lot of unknown, but I think you're very excited. So like on the surface, I'm seeing a really exciting new beginning. And like underneath, I'm seeing a lot of respect. Yeah, I don't, and I think this is like a newer relationship, so I don't know if maybe like, yeah, like you're both in school together and maybe you've seen them, but this is the first time you're working on a project together. Um, or again, yeah, maybe like they've always been like in the periphery of your friend group, but like this is the first time you've started spending time together. I think there's a lot of mutual respect here, particularly as it resolves to like work ethics. So I wouldn't be surprised if, yeah, maybe this is a relationship relating to something where you are building something together. So just so that I was gonna say it. So guilt and truth ties to the justice card, and violence ties to the chariot. Um, so what's working in this relationship is even though again I think this is pretty relatively new, I do think you guys really see each other. I think it's a really beautiful thing in a relationship when you can be like seen and understood by another person. Again, the underpinning of this relationship, despite sort of it's new and it's more external item focused, is I think a lot of respect. And so like, yeah, maybe they've seen your work before, or you've seen their work, and I think you guys really like see and appreciate each other. With violence here, it's not working. I really think it's more maybe baggage being brought into this. Um, I'm thinking of the joke like, oh, when I die, I want my team to bury me in the ground so they can let me down one more time, or something like that. I'm like butchering it, but um, I think this idea, because again, I think it's project centered, or like what's kind of driving the initialness of this relationship is sort of like projections on them from other situations. Um, and that's why the best path forward with the Nine of Books here is to like, acknowledge your fears to yourself, not to them. Like they have their own things, and I don't think it's that serious right now what's going on with you, but like I think you have to like acknowledge to yourself fears, triggers, and sort of like sit with them and like process them from when they happen so that you're not bringing them to this new relationship, and then move forward. I think it feels really exciting like when I see this Nine of Books, which is the Nine of Swords, which can be like really daunting, or like I think in the Rider Waite it's like a person crying with swords behind them, but I feel like in this deck, you know you're moving through books. I think the best path forward is to get to know this person and continue to get to know this person, and the depths. And then we'll see that these fears, this violence, this like monster isn't really there, you know? So it's like really exciting. Um, how can you let me pull some oracle cards to see how you can foster this relationship? Um, we have 10 with Capricorn and Achieve. And full moon in Capricorn, end of a tough cycle approaches. Yeah, I'm feeling maybe, yeah, you've come from a bad team, bad friendships, bad relationships. And I think that this relationship is, yeah, it's looking like a great start. So let's take a look at this. I think with Capricorn here, which talks about structure and a solid foundation, I think it's also making me think on what's not working right now. As this is sort of the chariot of this deck is rushing. Like a lot of times we can get really excited and kind of try and move things along really quickly. I think with two Capricorn cards here, I think the best thing to build on this relationship is making sure that we're taking things slowly, really building a foundation, like not rushing in. I think, like I said, there's many books to go through. We don't want to just jump to the end. Um, but I'm seeing that, you know, this can be a very beneficial relationship, either in a work way, like financially very beneficial, or in a romantic or a friend way. Like this can be a very supportive, transformative relationship. But I think it's important to really build up the foundation, create a strong foundation. Um, Relationships are work, so you will have to like work at this beyond whatever kind of project idea, whatever that like initially brought you together. So I think, this is really exciting new friendship. Um, and I think, yeah, take your time, build it up, get to know each other on all levels. So, pile four, thank you so much for joining me on this reading today. It's been a pleasure spending time with you. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to hear about more readings. Also, feel free to follow me on TikTok and Instagram for more tarot content. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next one.